Alright guys, what's up? Next video, we are going to be cleaning up the entire engine bay. I already washed the whole bay and cleaned up everything and just kind of de-soaked everything, kind of get rid of the dirt and grime. It looks a lot better, but now it's clean, but it still looks cluttered. So what we're going to do is we're going to tuck this bay, probably paint a whole bunch of stuff, clean it up, make it look good. We are on a budget, so I'm going to try to keep this whole thing down to like 50 bucks, maybe max. And in the process, I might be installing some motor mount inserts since I have to replace this mount over here. Since that was covered earlier that mount needs to be replaced, we're going to replace that mount. We're going to drop in some motor mount inserts. Also, we'll probably just clean up the whole bay. We're going to remove all these wires, all this ugly stuff over here. Yeah, get rid of all this stuff. Might tuck the battery. I don't think I don't know. I'm still in between. I'm still trying to think, should I tuck it yet? Just depending on the price, because we are on a budget, so I'm trying to do this as cheaply as possible. I feel like I can do this whole bay for 50 bucks. I'm pretty sure I can make it look immaculate for 50 bucks and clean everything up. So that's what we're gonna go for. First, I guess we're just gonna remove the battery. That's just 1, 2, 3, those bolts. That's out. Next, we're probably going to go ahead and remove this the throttle cable. This is the next thing in the way. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That cable, throttle cable's out. The next one right here, you got one right here, and there might be a bracket in the back we have to remove. Not sure yet. Far as next, we'll probably remove these remove this hard line right here. These two lines right here that run by the motor. We're gonna delete these. Probably relocate them. One is here. One is here. So we're gonna go ahead and move all this stuff out of the way. Unclip. It's simple. Just unclip it. Unclip it. There's 2 bolts in here. Probably delete this too. Pull this out of the way. Just loop that back around. So yeah, we got a little bit of stuff to do, but this stuff will just kind of clean up just the mess we kind of have here in the way. Other than that, let me go ahead and pull this stuff out, and let me go ahead and get the mess out of the way. After that, I'll get back to you guys to show you guys what I removed. I'm probably gonna remove this bracket right here too. There's 2 10mm bolts down here. I don't know if you can see them down here, but I'll show you guys in a minute once we get everything out of the way. So, all right, let's see. Let's go ahead and step 1 this. Alright guys, so wrap that up. Cables are out of the way. I just kind of moved them to the side over here just to get those out of the way. So the throttle cables are done. The evap system stuff right here, pulled the bolts out for that. I got that over here on the floor. I'll show you that in a minute. It's right here. So we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a bolt right here you had to pull out. I kind of just put that one loose too. Battery tray, same thing. You got 1, 2, and there are 2 on the bottom. These might be hard to get to. I think they're 12. These are all 12mm. Once you get that out, I took the throttle wire cable off too, just to get to the throttle cables. That's just 2 10mm. So, all right, guys. Other than that, next we're gonna remove what is this, fuel wiring stuff. Make sure you get this plastic covering off. These 2 plastic coverings, we're going to need to remove these to tuck the fuel line when we get back. So we're going to need to remove this covers. Make sure you remove that too. Next, I'll probably pull the throttle body out. So just 1, 2, 3 clips. There's 4 bolts on it. Those are 12mm on the throttle body. This right here, we're going to pull this idle air control stuff out. Clip, clip, clip. That's out of the way. Next, we're going to remove this cable covering stuff. Engine harness stuff, and remove the cover on this, and then I'll probably go ahead and loop that to see if I can get some more room to that stuff. There's a bracket right here and a bracket right here I want to remove to clean up this area. So all right, we'll go ahead and move that stuff and we'll get back. All right guys, so got the throttle body and stuff off, got the fuel line stuff, popped all the clips off of that, popped the clips off of that too. That was pretty easy. Throttle body, that was another easy one, just 4 bolts. Just to let you guys know, you can loop this coolant line right here if you don't want it to go through your throttle body. I guess if you're not in freezing temperatures, you can loop that. I looped this one, and I also looped this one right here, the one that was going to this, to clean that up. But as you can see, we cleaned up all those brackets over here. It does look a lot cleaner over here. So we're working on tucking everything. Still pulling some stuff off. Still got to pull all this stuff off. That would probably be next. But yeah, as far as that though, I don't think I did anything in the back. I just pulled all those brackets off over there. Pulled the throttle body off. Other than that though, guys, I mean, she looks good so far. I mean, coming out so far. It's not bad, not bad. But yeah, down here, this is the clip for the, what is it, the fuel rail stuff. This is the coolant line that runs through to the valve cover. Just took that off. That's the one that goes to the idle air control. And this is the bracket I removed right here. This bracket right here is kind of just not really used anymore. There's 2 bolts right here holding it in case you're looking for that. Other than that, this is your big harness hole that comes across there. I'm gonna rewrap the harnesses to make it look better anyway, so we can just trash that. And here's the throttle body. Took that out. 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty simple. These are the hoses that go to it. Other than that though, guys, coolant probably will go everywhere when you pull the coolant lines for it. So what I recommend is just if you have a pair of vice grips or something, just go ahead and clamp the just clamp the hose right here so the coolant doesn't run out of it. And then what I did was when I pulled this one off, coolant went everywhere out of there too. I just put my finger over it and held the coolant in it until I got this hose over it and slid it back on. Other than that though, I probably lost a little bit of coolant, but not too big. I'll probably just fill it back up in the radiator. Other than that though, guys, coming all right. So next thing we're gonna do is probably go ahead and remove the intake manifold and the fuel rail. We'll probably just pull out just 2 bolts right here on the fuel rail. That pops off. Here's your clip right here. You're gonna squeeze these 2 green tabs in. That goes out of the way. And then on your intake manifold, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. You'll go ahead and pull those out. Manifold comes out of the way. And that's not bad after that, guys. Pull the manifold out and go ahead and get to the stuff down here to get to the engine mount so we can go ahead and drop the front and rear engine mounts in. But other than that though, we're looking pretty good so far. Well, all right guys, let's keep rolling. All right guys, intake manifolds off. That was easy. And fuel rail, that was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts there. Fuel came off. I just tucked that over here to the side. Next, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and drop the tranny since I can take a look at the clutch while I do the motor mounts too at the bottom. So it'll be pretty easy since the subframe's already out of the way. But you got 2 right here, little pins right here for the shifter links. Pop those up. Other than that, I guess we'll go ahead and get that stuff. Oh, and there's a little tin back here to get to. Other than that, manifold stuff. Remember, 2 on the fuel rail, that comes off. Intake gasket, we're going to be replacing that with a nice thermal gasket from Skunk 2 Clutch. Yeah, and then the manifold comes off. Another thing you guys don't know, tell a lot of people, take this inspection cover off on the bottom and actually look in here, because you can see there's a lot of like sludge and grime and stuff. Like, you want to clean that out because you don't want that in your motor. Especially since you're already at this point, you might as well just check it, look into it, clean that out. And 2, clean out the inside of the manifold too. It's gross in there. There's a lot of sludge. I know this car has a lot of miles on it too, so clean that out because you don't want that going into your intake. So, all right, guys, let's go ahead and knock the rest of the stuff out. Keep it rolling. All right, guys. So far, not much change on the top other than I pulled the harness out. There's 2 plugs down here. You can see these plugs right here. Unplug that and just tuck the harness around to the back so you can just get a little bit more room. Shifter cables are removed. Even just unplug the rest of the harness. Got that out of the way. The shifter cables are just sitting right over here to the side, just tucked back there so they're not going to get in the way. Other than that, took a little step ahead and go ahead and just drop the subframe real quick since that was only 2 bolts. There's 3 on the front of the motor. I don't know if I can see. There's 1 right here, 1 right here, and another one at the Up under here. Can you see that? Yeah, right here. So that's the front motor mount, and then there's 3 on the back. They're on the very, very bottom. It's probably easier just to show you on the subframe over here. The subframe's out of the car. So this is the front mount. There's 2 right here that the bolt goes through that. You're gonna remove the bolt that goes through the mount. I just pulled the mount off of the motor too. And then the rear subframe, the rear mount just has 3. Just 1 at the top, 1 over at the side, and 1 at the other side. You take those 3 out, that disconnects that. Other than that, you got your 4 corners on the subframe. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right there. Other than that, that's it. That's it to take the subframe down. It's actually really easy. A lot of people think it's so hard to pull the subframe in these cars, but it's really only for a couple bolts. Other than that, pulled that stuff out. Here's the motor mount. The front motor mount sits on the motor like this. So you got your 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3, and then your bolt that goes through the middle. The bolt right here. That goes through the middle of it. Other than that, you got your 3 bolts right here that just go on the rear motor mount. That's it. Other than that, it drops on the ground. So that's the next part. All we're gonna do now is just take the bolts that go around the transmission out. It should just be, I don't know, I think it's like 8 of them, I think, that go around the transmission. We'll go ahead and pull those out, and then just go ahead and loosen up this mount and make sure that we have a jack under the engine, and we're just gonna lower the transmission down and go ahead and pull it out. And that's transmission's out. That's that easy, not that hard at all, guys. All right, well, let's go ahead and drop transmission on the ground. See ya. All right, guys, here's the subframe update. Subframe has been dropped out of the car. I don't know if that's been posted in the previous video yet. Don't know, just recording everything. Yeah, but the subframe, I don't know if I showed you guys, but it looks pretty gross and disgusting. So we don't want to put that back in our cool race car, do we? Nah. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and take this up to the shop and go ahead and just get it coated, and I guess I'll give you guys an updated shot once it's done. Should look pretty good. Sand it down, clean it up. You know, you just don't want to put it back in, you know, gross and ugly. It's a race car, show car. You know, you got to be the daily, make it look good too. You know, everybody's probably like, that's a waste of time. Like, why is he cleaning the subframe? Hey, if you're putting it back together clean, just go ahead and put it back together the whole way. So, all right, we'll go ahead and get this coated, and we'll see how it looks. All right, guys, what's up? Got the subframe back. Looks pretty good. Just a simple coat, not too much. I think it turned out pretty good. Main thing was just kind of just to get rid of the rust and you know, clean up a little bit. So it looks pretty good. I like it. Gets the job done. So all right, we'll go ahead and we'll go on to the next part.